Good evening, everybody. This is Jake Gibson from the Paws Up podcast with the Paws Up preview post game show. It's just me today. Of course, Kevin Burrell is, working up, finishing up his article for SI, and Jonathan, of course, has a busy night with men's soccer playing on the road as well. Last I checked, the Panthers had a 2-1 lead in that, so it's just me. But let's just get right into it and talk about what we saw for the this game between FIU and Liberty. A final score of 38-6 in favor of the Flames. And let's just start off with the score, man. This was probably the worst case scenario for how this game could have gone for FIU. Of course, I had held hope and predicted a 28-26 record for the Panthers over the Flames in the pregame show. Again, shout out to everybody who watched that. But did not nothing really worked out this for FIU tonight. I thought FIU's defense started off strong, but as the defense had to progressively stay on the field much longer, as the offense just kept getting these three and out punts, these 1, 2, 3 play offensive drives, the defense got tired, and it showed because at the beginning of the third, for most of the third quarter, Liberty's offense was borderline unstoppable. And again, shout out to Liberty players. Just trying to get the stats here. In total, the Liberty had an unbearable yards game, and so far, as I look for passing, yeah, Caden Salter, 11 for 121, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. Um, his top receiver was uh, Trayon Sibley, who ended up with 83 yards and a touchdown. Panshaw also ended up with a touchdown as well. Rushing wise, Liberty's offense was defined by the running game, which FIU in these past few games normally did a great job at stopping. However, that was just not the case tonight. Um, 364 rushing yards for the Liberty Flames. That is the most in a very long time given up by an FIU defense. It's absolutely the most of this season by far. Um, some other stats to keep in mind: Liberty with 22 first downs, 156 passing yards. As I had mentioned, they FIU's defense did force an interception by Salter, along with a fumble lost, 2 fumbles for Liberty. Uh, 4 penalties committed by Liberty, 5 by FIU. 33 minutes total possession time for the Flames, and that's just the problem, man. Liberty spends the majority of the game on offense, and eventually the defense starts to falter a bit. That's just going to happen anytime a game or an opponent has that much time on offense. The defense just has to sit there, fake, and give up big plays. And that happened quite a bit today for the FIU defense, who I still think started off strong at halftime, all things considered. Some stats for FIU: Kewan Jenkins, 9 for 21, 133 yards, sacked 3 times, threw a pick, no touchdowns. He was eventually substituted by Grayson James, 2 for 3, 14 yards, sacked twice as well. Some other stats to keep in mind: Chris Mitchell, once again, best target, 10 catches, 89 yards. Eric Rivers, 5 targets. Keyshawn Owens, 43 yards, and not too much else to say stat wise. Grayson James, when he actually came in, has 25 rushing yards, which isn't bad. Um, and well, I mean, the biggest takeaways I'd say today are FIU's offense was clearly one-dimensional today. They didn't really adjust either, and Liberty's defense pretty much had the Panthers on lock the whole day. And when we had went in knowing that Liberty has one of the best defenses in all Conference USA, and yeah, FIU's offense just fell flat. They didn't really have any answers. And another takeaway I would say is that, as I had previously mentioned, the defense uh, just spent way too much time on the field, and it turned into just an absolute bombardment of yards for Liberty's running attack mainly. Though again, they have a balanced offense, passing and running, and they both got however many yards they wanted. And Liberty's one of the best teams in not even they are the best team in Conference USA. They made that clear today for anyone here who didn't believe that. FIU was a surging team, and they did not look great today against the Flames. And granted, um, there are some excuses to throw out there. Of course, the starting center and offensive lineman for Jenkins out today, so that could explain why he did not have much time in the pocket to throw the ball down the field. And yeah, overall the mood here is not great. As once again a final score of 38-6 in favor of the Flames. The good news, I would say, is that it's only the fifth game of the season. FIU has a 3-2 record. There is still 7 more games to play against other Conference USA opponents, and I still think that aside from Arkansas, maybe down the road, that was probably the toughest team that FIU had to play this year. So, with that said, um, I wouldn't be too upset about this loss. Hang your heads up high. I think the road will get better from here for the FIU Panthers, who do get a week off before they start Wednesday night football against the New Mexico State Aggies. That is on the road in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Their next home game is against UTEP. That's going to be Vice Night. Should be a fun turnout. We already saw that there is going to be a giveaway for that game. First 1,000 students, I believe, will receive a Vice-themed FIU T-shirt. But yeah, FIU gets a much-needed week off. They've played 5 straight games of football, 5 weeks, 5 games, including, of course, that Week 0 game against Louisiana Tech. So we had spoken with Keyshawn Owens. He says he has a minor sprain, but it shouldn't be nothing to worry about, especially with the extra week. Overall, Coach Mike McIntyre pretty much said the same thing. Liberty is a dang good football team. They're heading in the right direction. They're going to be competing for that Conference USA championship game, which I have no doubts that they will get into. And FIU just needs to adjust. They're a young team. They still need to learn. And it's funny because Jenkins himself mentioned that it has been years. I believe 2021 was the last time he had lost a football game that he started in. So this was unfortunately some history for Jenkins, and I'm sure he doesn't really want to think about. But yeah, final score once again: Liberty 38, FIU 6. Again, thank you to everybody who either saw us or watched our pregame show from the Roar Lounge. That was a super fun event. Shout out to the Alumni Association for putting on a show. And again, shout out to everyone who saw the halftime show by myself, and Kevin stepped in for a minute as well. Predicted an FIU comeback. It did not happen, Kevin. I'm sorry. But yeah, this was another fun week for FIU football. Just didn't go the way we wanted it to, but at the end of the day, we still have a 3-2 record. We're 1 win away from matching our win total from last year, and we still have 7 games to go. So keep your heads up high, Panthers. Look towards the cup 2 weeks from now when FIU takes on a team that they beat last year, New Mexico State. So definitely some hype for that game. And yeah, this is Jake Gibson. Stay in tune for who our next guest on the Paws Up podcast will be. And as always, Paws Up.